आप बोलो मत।
जीवन की कला को अपने हाथों से साकार कर नारी ने संस्कृति का रूप निखारा है। नारी का अस्तित्व ही अति सुंदर, अति न्यारा, अति प्यारा है, अति प्यारा है। अंतरराष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस अर्थात शक्ति पर्व के परिप्रेक्ष्य में आयोजित नारी संरक्षण तथा नारी सशक्तिकरण हेतु कानूनी प्रावधान विषय पर आयोजित इस वेबिनार में मैं मंच को सुशोभित कर रहे हमारी निदेशक महोदया, उप निदेशक महोदया, हमारी आज की विशिष्ट अतिथि हमारे सहायक निदेशक महोदय, सदस्य आईसीसी का हार्दिक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ। मैं अभिनंदन करती हूँ और स्वागत करती हूँ ऑनलाइन इस कार्यक्रम से जुड़े सभी विद्यार्थियों और शिक्षकों का। विशेष स्वागत है इस सभागार में उपस्थित मेरे सभी वरिष्ठ अधिकारियों और सहयोगियों का। और हमारी आज की प्रमुख वक्ता विशेषज्ञ एडवोकेट श्रीमती शीतल रघुवंशी जी का मैं विशेष आभार और स्वागत करती हूँ कि उन्होंने हमारे इस कार्यक्रम के लिए अपना समय निकाला। हल्की हल्की ही रहती हूँ पर धरा का आधे से अधिक भारधारी हूँ। हल्की हल्की ही रहती हूँ पर धरा का आधे से अधिक भारधारी हूँ। निरही नहीं हूँ जग समझे, निरही नहीं हूँ जग समझे, गर्व है मुझको आधे की अधिकारी हूँ। हाँ भले ही ठंडक बांटा करती हूँ, हाँ भले ही ठंडक बांटा करती हूँ, पर बुझकर बैठी राख की न समझे, पर बुझकर बैठी राख न समझे, तीखी जलती चिंगारी हूँ। चेहरे से मीठा राग हूँ, चेहरे से मीठा राग हूँ, आंखों से लो हूँ आग हूँ मैं, काली काली सी दुनिया पर श्वेत रंग की आब हूँ मैं, श्वेत रंग की आब हूँ मैं। सृष्टि की सुकृति विशेष सृजनकारी हूँ, हाँ नारी हूँ मैं, नारी हूँ। जैसे कि आप सब जानते हैं कि महिलाओं के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में दिए गए उनके योगदान एवं उपलब्धियों को पहचान दिलाने हेतु 8 मार्च को अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस के रूप में मनाया जाता है। यद्यपि महिलाओं की पहचान किसी दिवस की मोहताज नहीं है, तथापि मैं इस विषय में जानकारी देना चाहूंगी कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस का आयोजन एक श्रम आंदोलन की शुरुआत के रूप में हुआ था। वर्ष 1908 में न्यूयॉर्क शहर में 15,000 महिलाओं ने महिलाओं के काम के घंटे कम करने, बेहतर वेतन और वोट का अधिकार प्रदान करने हेतु एक आंदोलन किया। कालांतर में इस दिन को अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस के रूप में मनाने का सुझाव वर्ष 1910 में कोपेनहेगन में आयोजित इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस फॉर वर्किंग वुमेन में क्लारा जेटकिन द्वारा दिया गया। आधिकारिक तौर पर इसे मनाने की शुरुआत वर्ष 1975 में हुई, जब संयुक्त राष्ट्र ने इस दिवस पर आयोजन आरंभ किया। यद्यपि यह तिथि जा चुकी है, तथापि सभी को महिला दिवस के परिप्रेक्ष्य में आयोजित इस कार्यक्रम में महिला दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। यद्यपि भारत के प्राचीन इतिहास में महिलाएं आरंभ से ही सर्वाधिकार प्राप्त और सर्वशक्तिमान थी, जिसकी झलक हम अनेक विभिन्न सशक्त नारियों में देख सकते हैं। भारत की पुरातन नारी का उद्घोष था, सत्य सनातन दुनिया की सतत पुजारी हूँ मैं, नारी हूँ मैं, नारी हूँ। हमारे सदस्य सचिव हमारे बीच उपस्थित हो चुके हैं। मैं अनुरोध करती हूँ दर्शक दीर्घा से कि कृपया जोरदार तालियों के साथ उनका स्वागत करें। मैं हमारे सदस्य सचिव महोदय प्रोफेसर राजीव कुमार जी का इस मंच पर हार्दिक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ। जैसे कि हम बात कर रहे थे कि हमारे इतिहास में नारी कभी भी कमजोर नहीं थी। हमारे इतिहास की नारी का उद्घोष था, सत्य सनातन दुनिया की सतत पुजारी हूँ मैं, नारी हूँ मैं, नारी हूँ। वेद ऋचाएं लिखने वाली घोषा और अपाला हूँ, माता दुर्गा काली लक्ष्मी आदि सुंदरी बाला हूँ। शकुंतला की शिक्षा से भरत से भारत देश हुआ, तारा के निर्णय शक्ति से गर्वित सारा परिवेश हुआ। सावित्री बन यमराज पर भारी हूँ, किस किस का नाम गिनाऊं। उर्मी सीता राधा द्रौपदी पति के संग नेत्रहीन बनकर रहने वाली गांधारी हूँ। विद्योत्मा बन कालिदास से जड़ को विद्वान बनाने वाली हूँ। बन कल्पना चावला भारत की जग में पहचान दिलाने वाली हूँ। मैं नारी हूँ मैं, नारी हूँ। तथापि विभिन्न सभ्यताओं, विदेशी शासकों के साथ आए विकृत विचारों और अशिक्षा और संस्कार और संस्कृति के ज्ञान के अभाव में पूर्व के वर्षों में भारत में भी नारी को अत्यधिक दयनीय स्थिति में पहुंचा दिया था। और किसी कवि को कहना पड़ा था, अबला जीवन हाय तुम्हारी यही कहानी, आंचल में है दूध और आंखों में पानी। और आज अनेक समाज सुधारकों, विधि निर्माताओं के प्रयासों से भारतीय नारी सशक्त नारी के रूप में उभरी है। अब मैं आमंत्रित करती हूँ स्वयं एक सशक्त, सफल, आत्मनिर्भर नारी के रूप में स्वयं की पहचान रखने वाली हमारी उपनिदेशक एवं आंतरिक शिकायत समिति के अध्यक्ष डॉक्टर नीतू भगत जी को, जो अपना अत्यधिक निष्ठा से एवं निष्पक्षता से अपना इस सदस्य के अध्यक्ष के रूप में भूमिका का निर्वाह कर रही हैं। डॉक्टर नीतू भगत जी, आप भारत में नारी सशक्तिकरण विषय पर अपने विचारों से हमें अवगत करें।
Thank you very much, Reena. First of all, I would like to welcome our Honorable Member Secretary, Director Admin Manushi Madam, our speaker for today, Ms. Sheetal Raghuvanshi, Advocate, High Court of Delhi, and all the participants who are connected with us online and everyone who is presented here. So first of all, welcome. We are doing this program to celebrate the International Women's Day, though the day has already gone, but the spirit should be there. And I would like to speak about why we need to celebrate this day. Because Mahatma Gandhi ji says, judge a country by the place it gives to its women. But gender discrimination is prevalent everywhere, not only in India, all over the world, gender discrimination is there. What is gender discrimination? Gender discrimination is the unequal or disadvantageous treatment given to someone based on the gender it belongs to. And mostly gender discrimination is happening towards women. The Indian Constitution provides equal rights to men and women. In fact, I would like to say that our Constitution provides some privileges to the women, more rights to the women. Still, women don't know what kind of rights they have. So the purpose of this webinar is that they should know what kind of legal provisions are there to support them and to combat the discrimination which is happening against them. If I talk about the United Nations fifth SDG goal, the Sustainable Development Goal, it is gender equality and it has to be achieved by 2030. And at present rate, it will take 132 years to reach full gender equality. And gender parity country ranking of India is 132 out of 191. So the situation is really, problematic. Everyone has to come up to be together to give some solution to this problem, and continuously this kind of program should keep on happening in the country. And if I talk about the gender discrimination, how it happens, why it happens, there are various reasons. One of the reason is that social custom, beliefs and practices. If you want to see the gender discrimination, see the family where a child has to be born, everyone wants it has to be a male child. This is very common everywhere. So this is the main reason. So right now I can say that there should not be such kind of problem, especially in the developed society, in the the higher society where women are doing equal to the men, but still it is prevalent everywhere. Second is not availability of the knowledge, and this kind of knowledge and awareness is especially not available in the rural area. So this is one problem which has to be solved. And again, let me tell you, the poverty is one of the reason, the illiteracy is one of the reason. 70% of the women, if we say that 30% of the people are below poverty line, out of them 70% is the women. The illiteracy data shows that 82.1% of the male were literate in 2021 census, and women 65.46%. So this discrimination you can see everywhere. 29% of the workforce is women, and majority of this is because of agriculture, because in agriculture role of women is very much in the farm activities, and 70% is the workforce, 70% of the workforce is male. 20% of the women are actually in the leadership positions, where 80% of the leadership positions are taken by the males. So there is lots of disparity at present, which has to be, we have to work on this to get the gender parity in not only in our country but all over the world. If you know the theme of International Women's Day of United Nations for 2023, it is Digital. Digital means use of technology and innovation for gender equality. And how it can be done? the dissemination of information through the technology to everyone in the country about the gender equality, women empowerment, what are the biasness and how it can be combated. And this is the purpose of today's webinar, where we are reaching to all the students, all the faculty member through this webinar and taking the women rights, the legal rights which are available in our law and constitution to all of them. AICT has already taken many initiatives for gender equality. For example, we have created guidelines for promoting gender equality. We conduct Leelavati Awards every year, Pragati Scholarship for Girl Child, and then a technical education leadership program where we kept that at least 50% of them should be women, and we maintain that. So AICT has always been very sensitive towards this, and we will keep on working on this. So with this, thank you very much, everyone. We wish that through this effort and through the collaboration and cooperation of everyone, we should achieve the women empowerment in this country. Thank you.
हार्दिक धन्यवाद महोदय, आपने आंकड़ों के माध्यम से बहुत ही व्यवहारिक बात की और भारत में महिला सशक्तिकरण की धारणा को स्पष्ट किया। जिस प्रकार आपने आंकड़े गिनाए, लगता है कि इस क्षेत्र में अत्यधिक काम किए जाने की जरूरत है और महिलाएं को इतना सशक्त किए जाने की जरूरत है कि वे गर्व से कह सकें, अनजाने रास्ते पर भी चलने का हुनर रखते हैं। अरे हम भारत की नारी हैं साहब, जिंदगी भर जिंदगी से लड़ने का सब्र रखते हैं। जो जंग हमारी आबरू आत्म सम्मान की हो, हम दुश्मनों के लिए कफन और कब्र रखते हैं, कफन और कब्र रखते हैं। कोई संस्था और इसका वातावरण निर्भर करता है उसके मार्गदर्शक एवं नेतृत्वकर्ताओं पर, और हम एक ऐसा वातावरण पाते हैं जहां कभी हमें महिला एवं पुरुष होने का अंतर अनुभव नहीं हुआ। इसका श्रेय जाता है हमारे धीर गंभीर सद्भाव, समानता और नारी सशक्तिकरण के प्रबल हिमायती हमारे सदस्य सचिव महोदय प्रोफेसर राजीव कुमार जी को। अब मैं आमंत्रित करती हूँ प्रोफेसर राजीव कुमार जी को कि वे अपना कुछ शब्दों के द्वारा हमें मार्गदर्शन प्रदान करें।
धन्यवाद मैडम। आदरणीय शीतल जी, डायरेक्टर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, मनुश्री जी, नीतू जी, गिरीश जी और AICT में हमारे अन्य सहभागी, सबसे पहले मैं नीतू जी को बहुत बहुत और उनकी पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा कि वो इस टाइप के प्रोग्राम रेगुलर इंटरवल्स पे कराते रहते हैं। मेरे ख्याल से गवर्नमेंट का एक ऐसा डिपार्टमेंट, पहला डिपार्टमेंट है, हमने और जगह भी काम किया है, सर्विस की है, लेकिन इतने रेगुलर मन से प्रोग्राम वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट या वुमेन्स के अधिकारों के बारे में कहीं नहीं होते। तो उसके लिए मैडम आपकी पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत बधाई। मैडम, आपने भी आंकड़ों के द्वारा बताया कि वुमेन की क्या स्थिति है भारत में, लेकिन मैं कुछ आपको पॉजिटिव आंकड़े भी देना चाहूंगा। जैसा कि आपने AICT की बहुत सी स्कीम के बारे में भी जिक्र किया कि प्रगति स्कीम है, जिसमें हम छात्राओं को जो टेक्निकल एजुकेशन में आती हैं उनको छात्रवृत्ति के रूप में 50,000 रुपए पर प्रति वर्ष की सहायता प्रदान करते हैं, और हमने इस स्कॉलरशिप को 5,000 से 10,000 किया विगत 2-3 सालों में। तो उसका परिणाम ये हुआ कि 3 सालों में करीबन 2.5% बच्चियों का एनरोलमेंट टेक्निकल एजुकेशन में बढ़ा। ये केवल 10,000 से नहीं बढ़ा, लेकिन बच्चियों को एक प्रेरणा मिली और उनको एक लगा कि टेक्निकल एजुकेशन में जाना चाहिए जहां पर छात्रवृत्ति मिलने की संभावना है। ये छोटे छोटे प्रयास, पहले करीबन 29% बच्चियों का टेक्निकल एजुकेशन में जो AICT अप्रूव्ड इंस्टीट्यूशन है 29% एनरोलमेंट था, प्रतिनिधित्व था, वो बढ़कर 31% से भी ज्यादा हो गया। ये एक बहुत बड़ा अपने आप में एक उदाहरण है कि अगर थोड़ा सा भी हम लोग इस बारे में जागरूक हों, चाहे बच्चियों के बारे में हायर एजुकेशन में आने के लेकर हो या कार्य क्षेत्र में महिलाओं को लाने के लिए, अगर छोटी छोटी सुविधाएं आप प्रदान कर सकें, मेरे ख्याल से किसी भी संस्था में हमारी महिलाओं का प्रतिनिधित्व बढ़ता है। और मुझे खुशी है कि AICT में चाहे हमारा रेगुलर मैन पावर हो, चाहे हायर एजेंसी के द्वारा मैन पावर हो, वुमेन का प्रतिनिधित्व बहुत अच्छा है। सभी संस्थानों से अच्छा वुमेन का प्रतिनिधित्व हमारे AICT में है। मुझे आशा है कि ये प्रक्रिया इस हिसाब से चलती रहेगी। और सबसे बड़ी बात है, जितनी हमारी वुमेन मैन पावर है उतने लगन से काम करते हैं। जो मेजर जो वर्क्स हैं हर स्कीम के, चाहे वो किसी भी ब्यूरो में हो या सेल में हो, अधिकतर महिलाओं के पास, बच्चियों के पास है, हमारी बच्चियों के पास है। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट का जब मौका मिला है, वुमेन ने करके दिखाया है। चाहे वो कार्य क्षेत्र की बात हो, शिक्षा की बात हो या खेलकूद की बात हो, हर क्षेत्र में जब भी मौका मिला है महिलाओं को, उन्होंने करके दिखाया है। मैं नीतू जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि इस टाइप के प्रोग्राम करते रहें। थोड़ा सा जागरूक करने की अभी स्टाफ को हमारी जरूरत है। जैसे कि ये सब प्रोग्राम हमारा 4:30 बजे से शुरू होना था, हम नहीं शुरू कर पाए, तो आगे से थोड़ा सा हम इस पे ध्यान रखेंगे कि हमारा प्रोग्राम टाइम पे शुरू हो, क्योंकि YouTube लाइव भी प्रोग्राम हो रहा है, बाहर से भी बहुत से लोग बाहर जुड़े हुए हैं। किसी को असुविधा ना हो, पर्पज यही है कि किसी को असुविधा ना हो। आगे से ध्यान रखेंगे, सब लोग ध्यान रखेंगे, टीम भी ध्यान रखेगी, हम भी ध्यान रखेंगे, और प्रोग्राम में हम लोग सब टाइम से शुरू करेंगे। फिर से एक बार आपको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। नमस्कार, जय भारत।
हार्दिक आभार एवं धन्यवाद महोदय। इस प्रकार का सुखद एवं सौहार्दपूर्ण वातावरण हमें देने के लिए। आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा, नारी ऐसी ही होती, मोहताज नहीं गुलाब की, नारी खुद बागमान है इस कायनात की। मोहताज नहीं गुलाब की, नारी खुद बागमान है इस कायनात की। यहाँ मैं एक बात कहना चाहूंगी कि जैसे सर ने कहा कि हमारी जो योजनाएं हैं, उन्होंने जो इनरोलमेंट है उनका, महिलाओं का इनरोलमेंट तकनीकी शिक्षा में बहुत बढ़ा है। इसी प्रकार के छोटे छोटे प्रयास और सहारे सामाजिक परिवर्तन लाने में बहुत कारगर सिद्ध होते हैं। और हमें खुशी है कि हमारी जो संस्था है वह इस प्रकार के प्रयास करती रहती है। और हर व्यक्ति को ये समझना चाहिए कि आपका थोड़ा सा कहते हैं कि थोड़ा सा आपका पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड, किसी को आपका सहारा भी नहीं कहेंगे, किसी को एक सही दिशा में ले जाने के लिए आपका मार्गदर्शन बहुत बड़ा काम करता है। और एक छोटी सी आपकी हरकत या एक छोटा सा आपका कार्य जो किसी के साहस को तोड़ देता है, इस प्रकार के कार्यों से हमें हमेशा बचना चाहिए। कहा भी गया है, बस एक शाम लगती है, बस एक शाम लगती है आफताब को ढलने में, बस एक शाम लगती है आफताब को ढलने में, और पूरी रात लग जाती है वापस लौट कर आने में। सच है यार, बहुत वक्त लगता है गिरकर संभलने में, एक धक्का काफी है किसी को गिराने में, एक धक्का काफी है किसी को गिराने में। इसलिए हमें अपने प्रत्येक कार्य का निरीक्षण करके ही किसी के साथ व्यवहार करना चाहिए। एक अत्यधिक सशक्त नारी का प्रतिनिधित्व करती हैं हमारी आज की प्रमुख वक्ता, जिन्होंने और सिर्फ शिखर तक का सफल अपने बल पर तय किया है, जो मिसिस शीतल रघुवंशी जी, एडवोकेट कंसल्टेंट, सीनियर पैनल काउंसिल यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया, आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ट्रिब्यूनल दिल्ली, पैनल काउंसिल DDA SDMC, एक्सटर्नल मेंबर ICC AICT। आप हमें महिलाओं की सुरक्षा एवं सशक्तिकरण हेतु जो कानूनी प्रावधान है उनके विषय में जानकारी देंगे, ताकि महिलाओं को और सशक्त बनाया जाए और हमें अपनी अधिकारों का ज्ञान हो सके। श्रीमती शीतल रघुवंशी जी।
Respected Professor Rajiv Kumar ji, Madam Manushree, Mr. Girish Bhasin, Madam Neetu Bhagat, Madam Reena, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome all of you to celebrate here the spirit of Women's Day here in AICT auditorium. Why we are celebrating this? As already explained by Neetu ji and Reena ji. So I'm not going in that, but हम सब जब कुछ भी शुरू करते हैं तो भारतीय होने के नाते भारतीय संस्कृति से रिलेटेड, भारतीय संस्कृति से संबंधित कुछ चीजें जरूर अपने साथ लेकर आते हैं जहां भी जाते हैं। आपने सभी ने सुना होगा, यत्र नारी पूज्यन्ते रमन्ते तत्र देवता। जहां नारी की पूजा होती है वहां देवता रमते हैं, ऐसा हमारे शास्त्रों में कहा गया है। लेकिन इसकी दूसरी जो आगे वाली लाइन है आज तक कभी किसी ने पढ़ी नहीं। कैन यू प्लीज प्ले नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। यत्रे तास्तु न पूज्यन्ते सर्वास्त त्राफलाह क्रिया, अर्थात जहां नारी की पूजा नहीं होती या उसे उचित सम्मान नहीं मिलता, वहां किए गए सारे कार्य विफल होते हैं या उनका कोई भी पर्याप्त फल जो मिलना चाहिए वो नहीं मिलता। तो हम जब भी कहीं सुनते हैं तो हमने हमेशा पहली लाइन सुनी और उसी को लेके खुशी खुशी आगे बढ़ गए। दूसरी वाली लाइन पर हमारा कभी ध्यान गया नहीं, इसलिए मैंने सोचा कि मुझे आपसे दूसरी लाइन शेयर करनी चाहिए और इसीलिए मैंने ऐसे किया। तो हम ये याद रखें कि जब भी हम किसी महिला के विषय में या महिलाओं के विषय में बात करते हैं तो उन्हें उचित सम्मान अवश्य दें, क्योंकि ये अत्यावश्यक है। इसलिए नहीं कि हमें अपने कर्मों का फल चाहिए। देखिए, कर्मों का फल तो जो जस करी है तस फल चाखा, ऐसा भी लिखा हुआ है। लेकिन यदि हम स्त्री को सम्मान देते हैं, उसकी गरिमा को बढ़ाते हैं, तो उसे एक पॉजिटिव मोटिवेशन मिलता है और वो पॉजिटिव मोटिवेशन जो है पूरी सोसाइटी को मिलता है, क्योंकि एक महिला एक घर एक समाज की सबसे प्रमुख यूनिट है, इकाई है। Now I'll talk about the legal provisions. Here we talk about, first, there are two kinds of legal provisions which I would like to discuss. One is constitutional provision. Constitution of India, we all know about constitutional provisions. Constitution of India had given so many articles where it has been described that what should be the act and duty of the state. So it means for welfare of the state, including everybody, male, female, children, society as whole, is the responsibility of the state. So constitutional provisions are those provisions, under the guidance of those provisions and under the pursuance of those provisions, and to achieve the welfare of a state, which is the main spirit, main target of the constitution, we made legislature provisions. So there are two things. One is constitutional provisions, who give our parliament power to make laws related to constitutional principles, and according to that, parliament provide us the legislature, number of enactments. So constitutional provision under Article 14, right to equality, equality before law and equal protection of law. It means everybody is protected by law equally, irrespective of their gender. Article 15 says that state cannot discriminate on the race, caste, creed, religion, language. State cannot discriminate on any of these grounds. It means gender is also included in that. So state has to give equal treatment, equal opportunity to all its citizens. At the same time, I would like to attract your thought and views in that regard. In Article 15, Clause 3, there is one discrimination which is allowed by the Constitution itself, and that 15.3 says that a positive discrimination can be done by the state in the favor of and to protect women. What does it mean? That state can form or frame laws, those are favorable to women. Now we'll say why women, as we discussed number of things regarding women representation in different area of work field and opportunities of work. But at the same time, we all know that the level of the women representation comparatively less in some areas. Like everybody is aware, early days, including even nowadays also, we think that what is the good job for women? So every family is comfortable if a woman took a job as a teacher, as a bank officer, somewhere as a doctor. But families are not comfortable. Even if some of women are also not comfortable to take adventurous job like merchant navy. You hardly find a few women. They are working as technical engineers in merchant navy or in different denomination job profiles. They are there. They are very less. If we talk about armed forces, they are representation of women is good at army, but it's not up to the mark comparatively to the whole of world. Same time, you will find rarest representation of women in Indian navies. And we talk about like fire brigade and any others. There are so many complicated fields which is unconventional. Usually families are not feeling comfortable. They are worried that if a woman joins such kind of service, what about her personal life as a woman plus her safety and security? So what is the basic thread behind this? The basic thread is we are worried about our safety. And this worriedness only goes away with the specific treatment, equal protection to the women so that they'll feel comfortable as well as their family feel comfortable that they can join such service. So just to make proper representation towards the women equality, towards the equality, gender equality, we had this kind of special structure in constitution because the constitution makers were aware about that gender discrimination is deep rooted in our society and they wanted to eradicate it. So this is why when you see that there are horizontal reservation in constitution, according to constitutional provision, Article 39D, we have seen in Panchayat Raj nowadays, there are 1/3 of seats are reserved for women. And it is just because of those constitutional provisions. As we talk about pay parity, which is very important thing to talk about, still it is there, pay parity differences. Pay differences, equal remuneration for equal work, which was not available to women. In certain cases, it is not there. You might heard about recently Priyanka Chopra, which is a very famous Indian actress. She said in one of her interview that in last 22 years of my film career, she is working in Hollywood also, you all are aware. So she got only one opportunity. It is recently, she said that I got equal pay to my male counterpart. So what does it mean? It's not only India, it's worldwide. Gender discrimination is there in pay parity. Female actresses are less paid comparatively to male actresses. At the same time, you will see the leadership graph. You won't find much women on the top hierarchy. So to achieve that target, their company law has been recently amended, their provisions that there has to be women directors, 1/3 position that has to be there for women directors in every company. So this is how we are on way to achieve the gender equality so that women representation is there. See, if there is no women in board, how can you expect that that board will think about the women employee of the company? Because nobody, if I am the victim, if I am facing a problem, nobody can represent myself better than me. So a woman can understand what another woman is going through, what she is feeling, and most of the women they can understand. Even some of, I guess, male also, like due to liberalization and this education awareness, most of the male also nowadays they understand that a woman when she works, she doesn't work alone for that office or for the premises she is working for. There are number of hurdles to, there are so many slips between cups and lips. She has to start crossing those hurdles from house. So everyone who is sitting in this auditorium, she might have broken so many glass shields to sit here. So this is the thing which we need to understand, that discrimination is deep rooted, but we can come over it just with some of our efforts, constitutional provisions, legislature, as well as with the help of understanding, with the help of helping each other. A man stand for a woman. This goal, equality, cannot be achieved all alone. We both are complementary to each other. So until and unless the man in society is standing for a woman, it is really very difficult to achieve that target. So these are the things which are related to constitutional provisions. Now, why we need women empowerment? As I discuss in detail right now, decision making power, because women are deprived of certain things like decision making power, freedom of movement, access to education, access to employment, exposure to media, and domestic violence. Next, please. Apart from constitutional amendments and articles, there are some of the acts. Those are introduced and enacted by the parliament for the betterment, protection, prohibition, and empowerment of women. Some of them are there. Domestic Violence Act. You must all heard about this act. Domestic violence, but a woman, when she is residing in a family, everybody has residing in family, and a woman specifically, if get abused physically, mentally, morally, economically, exploited in a family, it comes under domestic violence. So first protection she need under the family, and to protect her, this act has been enacted. Next, Hindu Succession Act. We all know that Hindu law is related to marriage, succession, and all. It means it's a personal law which is dealing with the provisions related to marriage, related to maintenance, related to succession, and so on. So it is a major enactment which is there for women. Hindu Succession Act. Before this act, women were not entitled to get their share, equal share in the property of the parents, ancestral property. They cannot get the share. So this act was there, and after this act in 2005, there was a major amendment. Through this amendment, now women are equally entitled in ancestral property. It means they will get the same share in the ancestral property as their brother, as their cousins in the hierarchy, first cousin, second cousin, third cousin. अगर हम देखें तो कैसे हिंदू मैरिज, हिंदू सक्सेशन प्रॉपर्टी का होता है उस हिसाब से. So they are now co-partner. Equal distribution would be there after 2005. And even if a woman who is subjected to that provision, it's a retrospective provision. तो 2005 के पहले भी जिनका प्रॉपर्टी फादर की डेथ हो चुकी है, वो महिलाएं भी इस लॉ के अंतर्गत, अमेंडमेंट एक्ट के अंतर्गत उस प्रॉपर्टी में अपना हिस्सा क्लेम कर सकते हैं. Then Dowry Prohibition Act. We all know what is dowry. I don't go in detail, but yes, dowry still exists. There are forms that has been changed. There were a cumulative dowry previously. Now we are giving in installments also. Every woman who is working, she is facing some kind of problem. It means that there are families who expect their daughter-in-laws to put all their money in the husband's family, or even if they want to spend some of their money for their parents or for the betterment of their parents or for themselves, they are not allowed to. I have seen such kind of I have experienced this kind of things in families near about me, around me. So it is there. So just to protect women, there are act that is known as dowry prohibition. Then eve teasing, we all aware about that. In subject to that, other consequences are there. Eve teasing is when an eve teasing happen at office premises. It comes under sexual harassment of women at workplace, prohibition, protection, and prevention. We have done a lot of workshops. I think I myself conducted so many workshops. So you guys are aware about what is the sexual harassment of women at workplace. Then immoral trafficking of women. महिलाओं का देह व्यापार से संबंधित जो कानूनी उपबंध है वो इस एक्ट में दिए गए हैं. Then Child Marriage Restrainment Act, Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, Hindu Marriage Act, and Hindu Widow Remarriage Act. You might aware that if a woman, her husband died, and if she got remarried, she cannot claim or a job on compensatory ground earlier. But after latest amendment, a woman whose husband was died and she got a compassionate ground job, she can continue that job even after she remarriage. So this is the latest provision which has given her rights which were snatched from her earlier. So this is a new latest thing. Then important provision, domestic violence. As I said, domestic violence. What is domestic violence? Domestic violence, sometimes even we don't know that we are causing domestic violence. Domestic violence is not between husband and wife. Every person who is residing in a family, there should be a relation between respondent. Respondent means a person who commits such crime against the women. It can be father, it can be husband, it can be any of the family member. So domestic violence, under the domestic violence, women cover who could be the wife, who could be the mother, who could be the adopted daughter, any person who is living in a joint family structure, and they live for the time being. During that time being, this thing happened. So what is domestic violence? Suppose if you are mistreating or maltreating some person here, person means a woman, she is in your family, you are maltreating him, you are shouting, you are pushing, you are showing her criminal force. What does it mean by criminal force? See, we are here, I am in front of you, and we are having some sort of argument on certain thing. Or you told me anything, and I'm simply putting my points that no, this is not like that. It's like in that way. But you don't want to hear me, and what you do, you raise your hand on me. Is it comes under domestic violence? Yes. You're showing me hand. You're raising your hand just to show me that you can use criminal force if I don't shut my mouth. You have seen in so many pictures, or you might seen in your nearby area, in the vicinity, you have seen there are people, especially, it's not, see, please don't misunderstand, domestic violence is happening only in lower class groups. No, it's a misconception. Domestic violence is everywhere. Everywhere means everywhere. Society, high society, middle class society, lower class society, it's not like that. Domestic violence is everywhere. It's about, like, if your sister, she is going to college, she is arguing that I wanted to go somewhere out with my friends or some um, she wanted to go further for higher studies, and male member of the family are not okay with that. In that case also, they try to stop her by any ways. By any ways means by maybe by shouting on her, maybe by pulling her, maybe by pushing her, maybe raising their hands on her, maybe any kind of maltreatment. This comes under the domestic violence. So in this act, why this act is very much important? See, if you are facing any problem that you might have seen in some of the houses, when they wanted to give a message to the wife, a strong message that you cannot live in this house as per your choice, but you have to live according to my choice. And if she do thoda sa bhi right left, sorry, in that case, what happened? The male counterpart, he may be spouse or any father or adopted son, even son also do behave with mothers. I have seen it. So what they say that आप इस घर में नहीं रह सकते हो, get lost, सामान लेके बाहर, देखा होगा आपने, ऐसे बहुत जगह होता है, सामान उठा के बांध के फेंक दिया. So in that case, what that woman do? She can reach to the police. Domestic violence case has been filed, and the magistrate has a right to give an order to the respondent that he cannot remove her from the house where she was residing. It's a restrainment order. It is called restrainment order. If she is going through a mental trauma, if she is facing any financial problem, if due to that domestic violence, if she lost her employment, if there is a lot of fight due to her work, due to her job. So in that case, she ultimately what she do? She wanted to stop this daily drama. She wanted to put an end, and then she left her job because her mental health is not good. She is not feeling comfortable going office. Every time when she come from office, there is a quarrel between the family, or she has to face domestic violence. So what she do? She left her job. So in that case, she can claim compensation and damages from the person who is committing such domestic violence to her, and that order can be passed by the magistrate. So these all are the provisions, these are the reliefs which aggrieved woman can get, because yes, there is right to maintenance under section 125 CRPC. आप सबने सुना होगा शायद, विवाहित महिलाएं अगर वो अपने हस्बैंड के साथ नहीं रहती हैं किसी कारण से और कोर्ट उचित समझता है, तो उनको भरण पोषण का भत्ता, मेंटेनेंस प्रोवाइड किया जाता है. So that is under 125 CRPC. But here also in domestic violence case, you can reach to the court and magistrate can order whatever order feels deemed fit. Next slide, please. In case somebody is causing domestic violence to a woman, what can be the punishment? Up to 1 year jail sentence and up to 20,000 rupees fine, or both. So this act brought new hope to the women, because what we have seen, we have been evident that every time there is a quarrel at a family, and if a woman got beaten up by husband, and if she dial 100 number, what happened? Police comes at the place, they discuss with both husband and wife, and what they'll do, they'll simply say, अरे घर का मामला है, आपस में निपटा लो बोल के चले जाते हैं. And it happens many times. So to put an end to it, that the woman who is already going through domestic violence, she is under very much mental trauma, she is like physically abused, where she go? आप बाहर दुनिया से लड़ सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर आपके घर में आपके साथ कुछ गलत हो रहा है, तो आप कहाँ जाएंगे? To protect that, this act has been enacted. And I must say it's very helpful for the women, specifically who belongs to the lower income areas. As on next act, I'm talking about Section 6 Amendment ड्यूरिंग द 2005 हिंदू सक्सेशन एक्ट. जैसे हमने अभी बात किया, पहले लड़कियों को अपने फादर की प्रॉपर्टी में हिस्सा जो था, एंसेस्ट्रल प्रॉपर्टी में हिस्सा क्लेम नहीं कर सकते थे. नाउ दे कैन गेट इक्वल शेयर एज देयर ब्रदर इज गेटिंग इन द एंसेस्ट्रल प्रॉपर्टी. सो दिस हैज बीन डन आफ्टर 2005 अमेंडमेंट. Now daughter will be allotted the same share in the property as the son. It means that she is getting same share as her brother is getting. If he is getting 1/3, she will also get 1/3. The succession of property should be done based on the will of the estate succession and not by the survivorship. What does it mean? Succession of the property on the will or estate succession and not by the survivorship. Survivorship मतलब पीछे अगर छोड़ा गया है, अगर बेटा है, या तो विल से गाइड होगा, या फिर estate जो है उसका जो रेगुलर जो फॉर्मूला which is made by the court, which is decided by the court होगा, but not by the survivorship. Survivorship means if a man died, if a Hindu male died without will, in that case the survivor, it means his wife and son, they directly don't get it. It means if there is a daughter in the family, she also get her share. Yes, if she don't want, she can give NOC, but there would be no succession, no transfer of the property, no immigration of or mutation of any property would be done without proper procedure. It means if you go to get register some of your father's property after his death by your name, you can't do it directly by your name. In that case, you have to fill up the form that you have a sister or one sister, two sister, or any other female members in the family. You have to give the details, and then the succession court will invite the applications that if anybody have any objection, then come to the court. In this case, if a woman who don't want to take her share in father's property, she can give no objection certificate to her brother. but her right is there. So it's on her discretion. She want to take the property or she don't want to take. But now she has a choice. Earlier she was not given that choice. Next. Next, please. Now, very important provision, as I said in Article 39D in Constitution of India, equal remuneration for equal work. State cannot discriminate on gender basis. If two people working same thing, if two people are doing the same job, then they had to pay the same salary or remuneration. So, in pursuance of Article 39D, this Act, Equal Remuneration Act 1976, is being passed. Now, every employer has a duty that there would be no gender discrimination under the employment in the company or the institution anywhere that people are working. If it is covered under Factories Act, it should be regulated in that manner. No discrimination shall be done. There would be no discrimination, and if a woman is doing the job which a man is doing, she'll equally paid. You have seen मनरेगा आपने सुना होगा, भारत सरकार की एक योजना है जिसमें 90 डेज का काम जो है वो दिया जाता है. तो वहां पे अगर महिला है या पुरुष है ऐसा नहीं है, किसी को नहीं, उनके जो अकाउंट में वो जो काम कर रहे हैं, सपोज कीजिए कि एक सड़क बनाने का काम है, गड्ढे खोदने का काम है, या माल को एक जगह से उठा के दूसरी जगह पर रखने का काम है, अगर वो महिला कर रही है तो भी उसे उतने पैसे मिलेंगे, पुरुष कर रहा है तो भी उसे उतने ही पैसे मिलेंगे. बट यू हैव सीन इन प्रैक्टिकली हम क्या देखते हैं, हम देखते हैं कि अगर कहीं पे कोई मकान बन रहा है और एक महिला भी काम कर रही है, एक पुरुष भी काम कर रहा है, और वहां पे जो ठेकेदार है, ठेकेदार मीन्स जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर जिसको हमने वो काम करने का कॉन्ट्रैक्टर दिया है, तो कई बार जब आप पूछेंगे तो महिला और पुरुष दोनों के वेतन में फर्क होगा. आदमी को 2500 रुपए या 3000 रुपए दिन के हिसाब से 9 बजे से 5 बजे तक एक जो नॉर्मल लेबर है उसको मिलता है, और अगर एक महिला एक बेलदार है या बेलदार माने जो सामान उठा के रखती है, या मिस्त्री है, सो शी इज गेटिंग ओनली 1800 2000. सो देयर इज पे पैरिटी, बट यू नो it will definitely be, I mean, slow down. It's definitely come down. It is now comparatively in better position, because in government sector we can regulate it, but in private and unorganized sector, just to give a check on this, it's a tough task. So it is not possible until and unless we take initiative. If it means that some labor is working at my place, I should ask the contractor what you are paying to her and what you are paying to him, and what are the jobs. We can give a check to that at our level. This is what we can do. Now, next slide is about eve teasing. As I say, eve teasing, we all experience it. It's a sort of a sexual harassment in that it could be verbal, non-verbal, it could be physical also. So we all, it means all women. I don't believe that there would be a woman on this earth who have not gone through the eve teasing thing. In my school days, I have faced this, even in sometimes in office or in our workplaces. Yeah, we experienced that. Eve teasing is not about always, physical harassment. It's not like that. It should not always be there. It could be verbal. Verbal, as we discussed about sexual harassment in our previous workshop. It is just like that. It could be verbal, means पटाखा, फुलझड़ी, सुना ही होगा, आप सबने सुना होगा. It's very common. And person who is saying this, why he is doing? Two things. One, his upbringing, from which society he is coming in, and what was the atmosphere around him, how females treated around him. This is what he's seen since beginning. He learned that and he is acting in that manner, and he doesn't find anything bad in that. So he don't know how that woman is feeling, how that girl is feeling. So first, the atmosphere. Second, entertainment. They find it's normal. It's a sort of a joke. They find it normal. because most of the time women ignore it. So what they feel, if she is not ignoring, if she is not opposing, there is no harm in that. It's very much okay. And certain kind of flattering means किसी की बहुत ज़्यादा तारीफ करना भी अच्छा नहीं लगता है बहुत बार. So it is also covered there. If you are treating a woman in a manner she is not feeling good, she feel inappropriate, you are touching her in an appropriate manner, you are using vulgar language, you are saying something to somebody else but your intention is on her, so this is called eve teasing. So there are provisions to stop eve teasing under section 354 IPC, where it is a punishable offense. But every time to go to the court to address these things not possible. If for specifically for a woman who is working in an office, who is working in a factory, who is working in an institution or a small workplace where 10-20 people are there, so for everything she has to rush to the court. It's very difficult to just protect her, to give her a dignified work environment. Sexual harassment of women at workplace has been placed before the parliament. The bill was placed before the parliament, and then this act came into the force. And now we all know that there should be an ICC, internal complaint committee, to redress such grievances of females. हमारे यहाँ भी एक आईसीसी है, आप सबको पता है, and we are very much aware about that provisions of internal complaint committee, sexual harassment act, and you all know that at AICTE we have a zero tolerance policy for sexual harassment. So if anybody is facing any kind of sexual harassment, there is ICC committee, they can report to it. Next please. Now, very important provision, Maternity Benefit Act 1961. See why the employer doesn't prefer women employees earlier. Now scenario has been changed. You might have seen in IT industry, female employees are more in comparison to male employees, because now company realize that they can hire female, they are more dedicated, they can hire female employees on comparatively a lesser salary, and they are doing the same job. So why not to give the preference to them? Because ultimately what is the aim of the company? To make profit, and they are saving some money by that way. So this is how the women are getting more and more opportunity in specifically in software industry. I do have a lot of client who are from the information technology kind of firm and software hardware companies, and they are having female workforce, huge female workforce. I overwhelmed sometime that, oh, such a big number of women working in the particular company. So this scenario has been changed, but still in conventional sector, women representation is very less. Why less? Because see, being a woman, we can do everything. Almost 95% work we can do as men can do. We can do the same functions. But there is a 5%. What is that 5%? That is 5% is due to our body structure, our gender. Being female, obviously you will go through a lot of things as you are aging, as you got married, your marital status changed, definitely you will think about a family, and when you think about a family, there would be a child in family. So to take care of the child, this is the basic responsibility of whom? As per society, it is basic responsibility of female to take care of the child. ये सोसाइटी का नॉर्म है. And plus society norm के अलावा भी, if a woman is giving birth to a child, she has to feed him, so that is what she need, leave. So that is why the employer doesn't wanted to employ female employees earlier. So just to give protection to the female employees, this maternity belief act has been passed. Now no employer can fire a woman who is pregnant during her job, or who gave a birth to her children, and up to 12-week leave is provided to her to take care of child. And after latest amendment, a woman can get 26 weeks leave to take care of her children. And we all know in government institution there are 2 years CCL leave, childcare leave. Most of the of you aware about that. It is there up to the age of 18 year of their child. They can take avail this facility. So why this facility? This facility is just to give women protection for their employment, so that due to maternity, which is which is not in their hand exactly, which is due to their bodily design, body structure, naturally they are being mother, so they have to nurture the kid. It's a basic social as well as the moral responsibility of a mom. So due to that responsibility, due to taking care of her family, just because of her gender, she should not lose her work opportunity. She should not lose her employment opportunity. That is why these are the provisions made to provide her dignified work environment. After the latest amendment, there is a bill in which there should be a crèche for kids, so that a woman, when she come to work, she can put her child in the crèche. So most of the companies now complying with that. There are 20 or more than 10 or more than 10 people working there. There should be a crèche facilities, or the crèche should be the nearby in the vicinity of the office premises, so a woman can work peacefully. In between, she can go and take care of her child also. Now, immoral trafficking, we all know about that. What is immoral trafficking? शायद कम लोगों ने सुना होगा. Immoral trafficking is related to prostitution, selling of women and children illegally. So we all know that it's right against exploitation under Article 23 of Constitution has been given, that no person can be sale. Why I'm saying sale? You might have seen in last 1 or 2 months back, there was on Blacknet, I guess you all aware about that. Somebody sold a particular woman who was a very powerful woman, who is known to be very powerful. She has a good position. They sold her on Blacknet. There was a proper advertisement that this woman is there to sell. So is it possible? Maybe they cannot do it, but they harm her character, they harm her morality, they cause mental trauma to her. This is the thing. Plus, you have seen women are there in prostitution. So to stop that, this act came into the force. No women can be forced to do prostitution, and person who tried to sell her, who tried to do her immoral work, who tried to make her doing prostitution job is punishable. And after this amendment act, there are the provisions also made out to legalize the sex work, and sex worker also have the dignified life right under Article 21. So to take care of their children, to provide them education, to rehabilitate them. Rehabilitate means if somebody who is illiterate, a woman that she cannot work, and she is into prostitution, maybe by her will or without her will, or she may be forced, she can be rehabilitated, and government is supporting so many such schemes where rehabilitation of prostitutes is going on, and their children are studying in good schools, good facilities to live, and hostel facilities are also there, and trying to give them vocational training so that they can do some dignified work. So this is how we are making them, we are empowering them to do good job and to lead to a dignified life. Then we come up with Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. What this act says: earlier, see, person who is not having a child can adopt a child, but a married woman should take permission from her husband, or a married husband should take permission for adoption from his wife. But an unmarried woman was not allowed to adopt a child. After the latest amendment, now an unmarried woman also can adopt a child. And what would be the difference between the age of the adopted mother and adopted kid? It is 21 years. So this was the right which has been given to a woman. Earlier she was not allowed to adopt a child. Why? Because it was a gender discrimination towards her. What society think, what the authorities thought, that as she is a woman, she is having nothing to rely upon. Specifically, she is financially not independent. So she cannot, sorry, she cannot take the liability to grow up a child at her own, all alone. But as we are growing, we are a growing society. Women are working now. Women are being financially independent, and to get married or not married is a different matter. And just she is not getting married, she is not willing to get married. She cannot be deprived to right of being a mother. She can be a mother without marriage, and this is how she can adopt if she is working or if she is capable enough to take care of a child, to give him a good upbringing financially. She can adopt a child. So this right was also given to women after the latest amendment in the Hindu Adoption Act. There is one more thing. If maternity benefit you want to claim, so there is actually a question come up, because earlier adoption was not that common, but now as we are growing society, adoption as well as IVF is also normalized nowadays. So if a woman who is adopting a child, authorities rejected her claim to take leave. Why they rejected her claim? Because they said she is not the biological mother of the child. So she didn't vote the child in her womb. And this is how she is not entitled, because she didn't give a birth to that child. So this is how she is not entitled to take the benefit of Maternity Benefit Act. But after the latest Amendment Act, now a woman who is adopting a child who is less than age of 3 months, she can get the benefit of the Maternity Benefit Act, and she can take leave up to 12 weeks, which she is entitled to. Maintenance, we all know that under section 125, married women can claim maintenance if they don't wanted to live with the counterpart or the spouse, subject to the legal provisions. So there are so many provisions which brought by the constitution, by the parliament, with so many legislature amendments, amendment acts are there, and the latest which I want to put on board and share with all of you. I feel proud that now Indian women are entitled to what? Permanent commission in armed forces. Earlier, women were introduced in armed forces through a special entry scheme, where they were getting employment for 5 years, and then extension for 4 years they can take. Then we got huge response. So many women come to serve for armed forces, but they are not getting equal treatment due to the gender discrimination. Their male counterparts, they are doing a full service, they are taking pensions, but women were only getting employment for the 5 years and a 4-year extension. And even after doing that extension, they are not getting the benefit of the pension and all other facilities. So they took this matter that just because of gender discrimination, just because of their gender, they are facing these issues, and it has to be eliminated because it is against the constitutional provisions of equality. The new scheme was made for women, and that is known as SSC, Short Service Commission. But again, in SSC, there are 7-year service plus 4-year extension they can take. Then we had a long fight in courts, and on 2021, we got succeeded And now Supreme Court had ordered that women can get permanent commission as their male counterparts are getting, and now women are also entitled to get permanent commission. It means they can do up to 20 years of service in the armed forces. They can serve, as well as with this service plus with the amendments they'll get the pension benefits. They can take commission also, permanent commission. It is on their choice whether they want to avail the permanent commission or not. So this is a huge victory of women activists in the country. In selected branches, there are 8 branches where women can be given permanent commission, as well as combat services are not included in that. Combat services are specifically there for a specific qualification. So women are not entitled to get permanent commission for that. But yes, in other 8 branches, they are entitled to get it. Now, in case, just few things which I wanted to tell you. A woman cannot, suppose if there is any charge means any criminal charges, संज्ञेय अपराध का कोई charge किसी women के against में लगा है, she cannot be arrested after 6 p.m. and before 6 a.m. in the morning. This is the rule. Also, a woman cannot be arrested by touching. It means nobody is allowed to touch her while arresting her. A women police officer has to be there. In cases where a crime has been committed against a woman, she can do a zero FIR. Zero FIR means she can file a complaint from anywhere in the India. This is zero FIR rule supported to the women, that wherever she is, she can file the complaint. जहाँ पे भी वो complaint file करना चाहती है, FIR करना चाहती है, further it would be transferred to the particular PS. No police officer can call her to the police station for inquiry. So in case if somebody, if a police officer is calling a woman who is subjected to any cruelty or who is subjected to a crime, cannot be called upon to Thana. She can simply denied. So these are the legal provisions for women. I hope I give you a glance, though this subject was very wide and there are so many acts which I need to cover up, but I had given you insight for selective provisions which may be useful for you as women. Thank you very much, all of you. I hope we will continue to do such workshop and awareness sessions, and definitely a men for woman. This is what is the requirement of the society. I hope, and I'm thankful for all the male who is sitting here to support their female colleague. Thank you so much. Thank you.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद महोदय, इन प्रावधानों की जानकारी सामान्य और सरल तरीके से देने के लिए। आशा है कि सब लोग इससे जागरूक हुए, सबके प्रोफेशनल और पारिवारिक जीवन में यह लाभकारी होंगी। अब मैं औपचारिक धन्यवाद हेतु आमंत्रित करती हूँ हमारे आईसीसी के सदस्य और सहायक निदेशक महोदय गिरीश बसीन जी।
Good evening, everyone. I have the privilege to deliver the vote of thanks for the webinar successfully conducted with passionate participation of officers and officials of AICT. I would like to express my profound gratitude to Chairman and Vice Chairman, sir. I would also thank Member Secretary, sir, for his moral support and guidance given by him. On behalf of ICC, I would like to thank Ms. Sheeta Raghuvanshi for giving us time and providing valuable guidance on today's webinar. Thank you, Madam, for your interesting and thought-provoking address. I am sure this webinar was useful and informative for all of us, and we shall conduct ourselves keeping in mind all the guidelines and awareness for legal provision of women protection and women empowerment in India, for a healthy environment in the workplace as well as in the society. Thank you, everyone.